The special program livestream just ended, and man, we got a lot of things to go over today, from the new skins, the 3 new playable characters, to the Archon quest, the world boss that has some oddly familiar mechanics, finally being able to use Pyro abilities on the Traveler, the Lantern Rite event and its minigames, and a sneak peek into the future. So make yourself comfy, grab yourself a cozy drink, and sit back and relax because we're gonna go over all of them one by one. We're gonna start with phase 1, which already brings bad news for free-to-play players, as it features both Mika and Sidlali, as well of course as their weapons. So if you haven't been saving up, or if you haven't been preparing for this moment and you wanted to get both characters thinking they're gonna be phase 1 and 2, that's tough luck. You'll have to engage some special gacha mechanics that we're all too familiar with to get the characters. Now, their kits have also been revealed, and Mika is exactly what you'd expect from an Archon. She can do the climbing, surfing, and flying just as good as any other character in Natlan, only she does them all. Her elemental skill feels like a 2-in-1. Part of it does off-field damage and pyro application, similar to Raiden Shogun's elemental skill. And for the other part, she kinda channels her inner Nick Cage and turns into the fucking Ghost Rider. Oh yeah, and also does this. Her elemental burst is different and can be used at any time, and that's because it does not require elemental energy like any other character. It instead requires fighting spirit, which can seemingly be attained by just basic attacking and using other characters in the party. When you use the elemental burst, she jumps into the air on her motorcycle, slams down and grants a damage buff to her and her party. Now, how big that damage buff is depends on how much fighting spirit she had when you pop the elemental burst. She also got 2 passive abilities. They are quite simple. The first passive ability affects her. She gets a damage boost whenever somebody in her party uses a Night Soul burst, and the second passive is she giving away a damage boost to the rest of the party whenever she uses her ultimate. For Sidlali, unfortunately, her kit doesn't get the same type of treatment as Mika, which is to be expected. She is not the Archon at the end of the day. But for exploration, she can still fly on her pillow, which is really neat if you ask me. Her elemental skill is actually kinda cool. Her plushie gives her a shield, but then when you accumulate enough Night Soul points, the plushie gets pissed off and also starts attacking enemies around her. For her burst, we actually don't have too much info. The devs only pointed out that she uses both of her plushies to attack at the same time, and then that it explodes at the end, kind of. What really sets her apart from other characters though is her passive, which buffs Hydro characters as well as Pyro characters that you have in your team. So I think she's gonna be an absolutely amazing pick for buffing any team out there. I think they've put both of the characters on the banner at the same time, and I think that you actually need both of them to get like the best in slot and best team available for Mika. Oh yeah, I also forgot. They also revealed the boss that's about to get hyper abused for materials for Sidlali and probably Mika too. It doesn't seem too hard of a fight, but the devs did mention some trials that we supposedly need to pass while fighting it. So I expect there's gonna be some mechanics that we kinda have to get used to. But all in all, it honestly looks solid. Oh, and can we take a second to appreciate just how fucking cool that motorcycle figurine type thing is on their table, bro? Honestly, I wish I could get my fucking hands on it right fucking yeah. Speaking of fiery things, we also got the Pyro Traveler revealed. Now, reveal is kind of a strong word, because they actually did not reveal anything about the Traveler. Everything you see on screen is what we had in the full live stream as well. So we don't know how his kit works, how it functions, what it fully does. But we can just appreciate the beautiful outlines and hope that this kit plays better than what he had up until now, because the other kits have honestly been kind of mid in my opinion. So this is gonna be the new weekly boss. His name is an absolute mouthful, so I'm not even gonna try to pronounce that because I'm surely gonna fucking butcher it. But I absolutely love everything about it. The arena looks astonishing. The mechanics presented so far in the fight look really fun to play against. And I absolutely love the design choice with the 2 swords, and the color style kind of reminds me of Pontiff from Dark Souls 3. And then the crash at the end here with the impact frames. This just gives me like hard base game Radon from Elden Ring vibes. So if they actually took inspiration from Software, I think this is gonna be a great fight. I cannot wait to play it. Now with the weekly boss out of the way, we can finally move on to phase 2, starting with the skins. Hu Tao and Xiangling are the newest characters to receive skins. Xiangling's skin is gonna be attainable during the Lantern Rite event for free, so make sure to play through that so you can get your free skin. And it's long overdue, honestly. We've had the same appearance for 5 years unless you played with some type of mods that change the appearance of characters. As for Hu Tao, I'm not sure how many people are gonna buy it. Ever since Arlecchino came out, Hu Tao has kind of been put on the back burner for most people, as she's been very power crept by Arlecchino. But I guess die-hard fans for Hu Tao can still purchase that skin. It's gonna be interesting to see how many people get that. I think the biggest shock of the night though came from Zhongli's broke ass finally having a fucking coin on him. That took me by massive surprise, but in all seriousness, this is part of multiple minigames that'll be added with the Lantern Rite event, including this Tetris lookalike and a new music event where you can choose between multiple songs and difficulties that you might want to play through. It's actually nice to see that this year again we're gonna have a Lantern Rite event packed full with content and games to play through. It really looks like the developers really never disappoint when it comes to events like this. One more area where they never disappoint is also new characters, and the free 4 startup we get for this Lantern Rite is Lanyan. Now, for her kit, there isn't really much to say. There is pretty much a character out there who does everything her kit provides, but she'll be an absolutely amazing addition for any new player, especially like new players who don't have characters with any mobility. It's gonna assist them a lot in their exploration, and again especially in the early parts of the game where you don't get any assistance. It's also worth noting that she's a catalyst user, so the cool chakrams you see are just like a front for cutesy magic, I guess? Not sure. But I think she looks great, and getting the choice of choosing her for free is always a plus. Now if you thought Phase 2 was all good news, well, tough luck, because we gotta talk about the banners. So Phase 2 banners are gonna be kinda similar to Phase 1 banners, and what I mean by that is they're actually stacked. We got both Arlecchino and Chlorinde, and I know many people personally who wanna pull for their reruns, especially getting constellations on Arlecchino for example, and now with the Phase 1 banners and then Phase 2 coming so quickly after, they don't really have a choice but to spend if they really want to get all the characters they actually had planned to get. So yeah, this is just another unfortunate situation where people who are free to play might actually be forced to spend or just give up on some characters for some more time. I certainly hope this is not the beginning of a trend with MiHoYo, giving us absolutely stacked banners where we actually have to choose between 2 characters instead of being able to play over time to get every single character that we want. And I'm saying this specifically because not only do we get these 2 banners running side by side, but we also get the Chronicled Wish. So this is something that happened last year as well, where we got what they called a Chronicled Wish banner. And what's special about this Chronicled Wish banner is you can choose one character off of there and you can pull for that one character. Now obviously you still get a 50-50 chance, which I think is kind of scummy, but at the same time you still get to choose between multiple characters, and this time around they give you the option to choose between characters from Liu and of course a Chronicle Wish banner for their weapons as well. I think this is great for people who want to try their hand at getting a character like Shenhe, who has not had a rerun in a million years and probably is not gonna have one before we actually colonize the solar system. So for that, this type of banners are actually cool. But I think they would be a bit more cooler if they didn't run along with 2 really popular characters, especially after coming out of a phase with other 2 really popular characters that people want. As for rewards, the devs are finally opening up their cookie jar just an extra bit more. They're gonna give out 10 wishes for logging in game during Lantern Rite and 10 wishes via in-game mail. Now these freebies are most definitely welcome given the insane banners that we're getting, but please, when planning out your wishes over the course of the next weeks, remember that these wishes will be given out during Phase 2, so they won't help you in getting either Movika or Setlali. Now besides the wishes, in what I see as a huge W from Hoyo, we're also getting the Xbox glider for free, which I think will nicely fit most of the Dendro characters that I have, so that's something to look forward to. We're also getting a new beetle fighting event as well as a farming event in which you can farm any material in any day without waiting for the time-gated system that they have in place. The developers also went over some system optimizations, which will get a video on their own as there is plenty to go through. And then probably the most exciting thing of the whole live stream was the unveil at the end with the upcoming content after 5.3. Now again, this is gonna get a video on its own as there is a lot to talk about and a lot of speculation going around with everything going on there, so make sure to stay tuned for that. This was it for the video. If you found it enjoyable, if it helped you out and put you up to date, make sure to drop a like and a sub because it helps me tremendously, and also comment down below and let me know what you think of all these changes coming. See ya!